Certainly a very exciting day for Xavier women's basketball. Before bringing Melanie up here to say a couple of words, I do want to say thank you to several people. First and foremost, our team. I said this to them a few minutes ago, but really appreciate their patience through all this process, because this isn't what they signed up for, clearly, to go through a coaching change. And I know there's some level of anxiety or nervousness, and that comes with the territory. But at the end of the day, very confident that we have a terrific leader for the team going forward. And at the end of the day, they signed up to play high-level basketball and compete for a Big East championship, and that's what this is about. I want to say thank you, even though they're not here, Father Graham and Barb Howard, the chair of our trustees. Glad to have Melissa Bauman, our provost, here. Appreciate the leadership of the university and allowing us to move forward in this. Father Graham and Barb both wanted to be here, but they are both traveling right now, and send their regrets. And then finally, I also want to say thank you to the staff that helped make this happen. I'm up here introducing Melanie, but at the end of the day, there are several people that helped make this possible, and it was very much a team effort. So thank you to Leslie Fields and Jeff Poulard over here on this side. Greg obviously played a big role in this. Susan Lipnicki and Brian Hicks were part of the interview process, and then Travis Steele also was talking with several of the candidates. So a lot of time invested in this, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings, and at the end of the day, very much, again, a team effort. Interesting factoid before Melanie comes up. This is actually the second time that Xavier tried to recruit Melanie, and I'm glad that this time was successful. Mark Elin tried to get her here to play, but he was unsuccessful with that. So this time she signed the NLI. So again, glad to have Melanie. In introducing Melanie, I think it's probably best just to sum up, what was important to us in this process. And I could go through, I actually had a page that had all of our priorities. There were probably 15 things on there, and Father Graham gave me a hard time when he read it before we went into the interviews. He said, the only thing that's not listed here, Greg, is walks on water. And if you had to sum it all up, though, there were probably three words that I would go with: values, culture, and recruiting. And to say a couple of things about each one. Values, clearly Melanie's going to demonstrate that over time, over the next few years here at Xavier, but probably the best way you can talk about her values and what's been demonstrated in the past is reflecting what we heard from people within the industry. Melanie was on our list right from the start, and then every single person we talked with such high regard with Melanie as a person. And I think it speaks volumes that her boss, her old boss, Kim, here at Michigan, the head coach, is sitting right here and would make the investment of time of 8 hours to come down to be at Melanie's press conference. I firmly believe that our coaches are the most impactful people in a student-athlete's lives in their 4 or 5 years here at Xavier, or at any institution. So again, the positive impact these people have on the lives of our student-athletes is critical, and that came out loud and clear as we talked to people. Culture. You're very quickly going to pick up just what a positive person Melanie is, and winning. She has won at every single stop she's been a part of. With that comes accountability and discipline, and I think our team will get used to that as they move forward. And also importantly, she's been a part of rebuilding 2 different times in 2 different programs, and again, that's a big part of where we are today. And obviously recruiting. That's what college athletics is about. So having someone who had the connections and the contacts in the Midwest, had won at a high level, had played at a high level, all of those came together. So all those attributes, each one is a little bit like a silo, but Melanie has stitched all those together to really make a terrific career, and 17 years of experience, which really comes together and makes her the absolute right person at the right time to lead Xavier women's basketball into the future. So with that, let's bring up our new head coach, Melanie Moore.
All right. 1 second. You taught me this, Coach. Well, thank you, Greg, for that wonderful introduction. I'm so thrilled to be standing here today. From the moment this opportunity presented itself, I was interested. But there's a difference between being interested and wanting it. And the more I learned about the university and its motto, all for one and one for all, the leadership under President Graham, the Jesuit values, and the support for athletics, it became clear it was my dream job. Xavier is a great place that's defined by rich basketball tradition in a conference of rich history. It's a university that defines itself by excellence in its classrooms and a department that develops student athletes competitively and in preparation for what comes after. These were all things I wanted to be a part of, and I'm humbled to be entrusted to lead the Xavier women's basketball program back to where it belongs. First, thank you, Greg, Christopher, for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be here. I value your leadership and appreciate all this department has achieved. I'm excited to contribute and add to that. The same goes for Susan Cross-Lipnicki and Brian Hicks and Travis Steele. It was great getting to know each of you throughout this process, and I'm excited to work with each of you. I want to thank my family and everybody who could be here today, my husband Joe, and my 2 children, Tristan and Ayla. Thank you for being my rocks and allowing me to live my dreams. I am not the coach I am today without you. To my parents, Louis and Mary Ellen, and my brother Matt, thank you for making the trip down here and for always teaching me what it means to work hard and stay positive. I love you guys. I also would like to thank the coaches and mentors throughout my career that helped me prepare for this moment today. The first one to Kim Barnes-Rico. Wow, the last 7 years have been amazing. Thank you for teaching me what it truly means to be a leader. I am forever grateful to the 7 years we had together and teaching me what it takes to win. Thank you, Coach. Also, to Courtney Banghart, who I spent 5 seasons with at Princeton. Thank you for believing in me and trusting me to help me build your program. I'm forever grateful. Thank you to Jim Weedy and Jim Jaber for allowing a young coach at that time to grow. And lastly, to my college coach, Gina Castelli, who gave a small-town girl from Ohio an opportunity to live her dreams. I appreciate all of you, and I will continue to work to make you all proud. Thank you to the former coaches and the former players who laid the foundation in the women's basketball program and set the standard for excellence. My staff and I will work tirelessly to get this program back to national prominence. To my current team, my number one job as your coach is to empower you all as women, on and off the court. Get ready to win and go to work. Let's buckle up and enjoy the ride. For someone who grew up in Ohio, to have the opportunity to lead Xavier women's basketball is something incredible. To Xavier Nation, thank you for your warm welcome and inviting me to the city. You will love how hard and fast our team will play. Now it's time to hit the ground running. Let's go X. Thank you.
Hi, Melanie. Shannon Russell with The Athletic.
Hi,
When you say you want to lead Xavier's program back to where it belongs, can you elaborate on where you think that is and how you go about that in the first 100 days?
Yeah, so I think just changing the mentality back to winning and winning in everything we do, not just on the basketball court. I think in the classroom, in the community, as well as on the court, obviously. You know what impressed me walking around this facility today is I've been coaching for 17 years, and Xavier has 2 Elite 8 banners hanging in their facilities. I mean, that's impressive. So at one time, not many programs can say around the country that they've been to Elite 8, and we've been there twice. So it's my job to hire a staff that brings the winning mentality back to Xavier, and we get started today in making that happen.
Hi, Melanie. Adam Baum from the Enquirer. Can you walk us through the moment that you found out that you got the phone call that this was happening?
Yeah. Well, I was with my staff, the staff at Michigan, and we were by the pool. I was in Florida at the Final Four, and catching up with some friends. And Greg, my phone had ringed, and I said, "Oh, I better step away." So I wasn't sure what he was going to say on the other end. So I left that area, was by myself. I immediately called him back, and he said that he believed in me and wanted me to be his next women's basketball head coach. I think I gave out a little yelp or scream or something. And then I immediately, as soon as I hung up with him, I called my husband, Joe, and my next call was Kim, who happened to be in a conference that I pulled her from. And we hugged it out. We screamed together. We cried together. But it was one heck of a day on Thursday, I'll say the least.
Did you have a chance to meet with the team today, or since you've been here, and how did that go? What is your kind of message to them as you start this role?
Yeah, I had a chance to meet with them before the press conference. And just to, I guess, talk about just our daily approach to everything from a family. So kind of what 3 things our program will be about: family, integrity, and competitive greatness. So just kind of talking about those 3 things.
I know it's very early, but do you have any ideas about staffing and how you're going to fill those roles, and whether, who we might see with you there on the bench?
I'll tell you one thing. When you get a job, you definitely want to be at the Final Four, because I had over 350 texts. My phone was ringing. I couldn't go anywhere without someone saying they wanted to come work here. So I will slowly get it together, and I promise to bring an incredible staff with a winning mentality.
Hi, Melanie. Luke Feliciano from the Xavier Newswire. What kind of differences do you expect from being an associate head coach to now being the head coach?
Well, I've been very fortunate that every head coach that I worked for put me in an opportunity for this moment. So from how they believed in me, they entrusted me with each of their programs, and by my daily responsibilities to their program. Kim, Courtney, Jim, and Gina all prepared me for this moment today, and what they had me in charge of and how they ran their programs, that I already feel ready. Like I honestly do. I feel ready for this step, and I can't thank them enough. And the last 7 years, especially with Kim and being her associate head coach, she really taught me that I'm ready and let's go do it. And it was her that kicked me out the door at Michigan and told me to go do this. She said, "You're ready, Mel. Let's go."
Is there anything from Michigan specifically that you want to carry over to Xavier, maybe like a mantra or something along those lines?
Yeah, I would say I kind of took some things that I learned from Kim and just my core values of the program and how I'm going to run the day-to-day. But also, I think just the type of leader that I want to be. I mean, Kim's an incredible coach, an incredible role model, and she wins. If you look at her track record, she won everywhere she was. So I learned from her every day how to run a successful program. For the last 7 years, I was blessed to work with her and see day to day how you run it, and even the good and the bad, but you never lose sight of your goal. And that's something that I'm forever grateful that she, entrusted me for the last 7 years, and now I have a shot at being my own head coach.
What does it mean to you? Like, did you always believe that this would arrive, that this would get here, that you would one day become a head coach? Was that always in the back of your mind?
I would say maybe the last 5 years, it started to become a reality for me, where I I was just kept grinding and like, it'll happen. And then I think 5 years ago, I knew I wanted to be a head coach. I was ready to be a head coach, but I wasn't just going to be a head coach anywhere. It had to be the right fit. Obviously, I have a husband, 2 beautiful kids, and I wanted to make sure it was a place that not only would it be a place I could raise them, but also a place that I felt great about. And if you look at my track record and all my stops, Xavier has a little piece of every one of those stops. So I felt like even walking around here today, it's a dream job for me, and I'm excited to get to work.
So you have experience rebuilding programs, 2 programs. Where does that start here? I mean, what does that look like in terms of, does it start off the court with personal relations with players? I mean, how do you kind of change a culture?
Yeah, I think it's one step at a time, you know. And I think there's going to be good days, and they're going to learn me. I need to learn them. But it's just going to be a process that we kind of work together, hand in hand, with one day at a time. But yeah, I think if you can notice, I'm energetic, passionate about what I do, and positivity. And at the end of the day, it's my job to get these guys ready for the real life. And so, you know, there'll be discipline in that. And I'm excited to hit the ground running with these ladies.
So you were a Hall of Fame player at Siena. Can you still play?
Kim? Well, I kind of decided to let that be in the past now. I mean, I get up shots, but I don't necessarily play like I used to. So we'll just put it like that. Thank you all for being here.